Hello and welcome back to the Beat Down Bandits podcast. I am Colin, and today is season 2, episode 12. Look at that, nailed it. For those of you who have watched or listened to a lot of episodes, you know I really struggle with that. So it's season 2, episode 12. I'm just realizing like I have not done that many episodes this year, and we're already almost into, actually when this comes out, it will be October. But I've only done 12 episodes this year. And so that's not great. That's not ideal. So I'm gonna try to step it up. So I'm gonna do my best. Work has been very busy. I've been having to kind of go into the office a lot more, and so thus I'm just not kind of getting a chance to do these. So that's just presenting a problem. So I'm working a lot of like 50-hour work weeks, and so that's just a struggle. So anyway, so today doing something a little different, and it's actually like kind of a redo on one of my first episodes of this podcast. So today we're just covering GTA, and going to cover that a little bit more into like some detail. Previously just kind of talked about it with some friends and kind of discussed that, and kind of talked about some funny moments or whatever, and things we like and dislike. So I'm just going to kind of go through a little bit more in detail. Before I even started this podcast, I actually had typed up a whole bunch of notes and for this particular episode, and I never used them when I did record the GTA. It was like, I think it was like season 1, episode 2 or 3. I mean, it was early on. So I am going to kind of redo it with my notes that I actually stumbled back across. I've updated it a little bit because there's a lot more things that have been added, and I also included like some stats that I had. So those are obviously a little different. So I'm going to share my screen. I know sound doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. All right. So kind of blew it up a little bit so you can kind of see ahead, so to speak. So anyway, gonna kind of go through this kind of. Wow, that was a weird sentence. Going to kind of go through this step by step and talk about these a little bit. We'll see. So before I get started into like the history of a GTA a little bit here, I wanted to talk a little bit about GTA 5 because this is the GTA 5 podcast. But just want to talk a little bit about it, and I don't I don't really know what I want to say, but at least how I want to word that. But the GTA 5, the problem that I have, and I just realized I misspelled damned, but that's fine. The problem that I have with like GTA 5 like right now is that we're on like version 5 of this. Now, full disclosure, and I think for a lot of people, GTA 5 is one of those like Mount Rushmore type of games. It's like a top 3, top 4, top 5 type of game for most people. And it's easily that for me too. I mean, right now, today, it's like a 4 or 5 for me that of game I want to play. But of all time, it's a top 1 or 2 for me. The amount of time that I put into GTA 5 is just incredibly ridiculous. And the amount of stuff I've done. So we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about that. And I also do kind of actually give some advice for people who are just getting into it. So believe it or not, like anytime I jump in to GTA 5 and I look at the lobby, there are still people who are like level 2, level 4. It's like these people are like legit still starting the game. And if you look at like the stores or whatever, like online, GTA 5 is still like one of the top 5-10 games uh, every time you look. It's still one of the most popular games being downloaded and purchased. So that's pretty insane to think about. So let's talk about this a little bit and get into it. So starting in 1997, the original GTA came out. No, a lot of people have played it, but for me, I was in high school at that time, and it was one of the first like actual like computer games, like a more of a modern type of a computer game that I played. I mean, I had like older, like on the big, like quarter-inch floppy disks or 5/4-inch floppy disks or whatever. Played some of those games as like little kids in Oregon Trail, things like that. But for like modern computers or whatever, the GTA top-down bird's eye view type thing was the first real, like, were one of the first real games that I had played. It was actually really fun. It wasn't the most at least early on, it was not one of the more challenging games. It's probably not something I ever beat. At least I don't remember beating it or putting that much time into it. And I know I shared this in the previous GTA podcast, or at some point I shared it on one of the podcasts, that the cops in GTA were not supposed to be as crazy. So if you play GTA 3, 4, Vice City, whatever, it's crazy, right? Like it's just absolutely insane with the cops. You bump into one, you walk near one, you stare at one for a couple seconds, they go crazy and they shoot you. Not they don't even want to arrest you, they just straight up want to murder you. And that was totally accidental. It started with whatever developer at the time who was responsible for the cops in the first GTA. They just went like on like a rampage. Like you'd get the cops called on you and they just would like start killing everybody, and they just thought it was hilarious, so they kept it. And that's just been a thing for GTA. I don't like it, drives most people insane, but I don't think it's anything they're ever going to not do, because it's just insane. So moving on, we get into the 99 2000s. GTA 2 comes out, which is very similar. Then GTA 3, 2001. So at this point, I'm in college, and then right after that, Vice City comes out. And I didn't get GTA 3 right off of the bat. And then, but I had heard about Vice City, and Vice City looked amazing. So I actually bought a dual pack, probably about 2002, bought a dual pack of both GTA 3 and Vice City. I'm guessing at that time it was the original Xbox. Amazing dual pack. Like it had like a poster of like the map or whatever for each, like Vice City and New York. Why am I blanking on Liberty City? And it had a map, like poster sized map of each of those, and it was super cool. Yeah, I really liked both of those games. I think most people really like those games. Vice City is kind of a cream of the crop of a lot of people's GTA games. I was a little more partial to GTA 3. Just like that story more. Vice City was really hard, still very good, great actors, etc. So, yeah, both fantastic games. Then comes along San Andreas, which really rivaled, I think, Vice City. A little more modernized, but it also came like 2 years after. So 2002 Vice City, 2004 San Andreas. So you're just going bam, 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 and just getting all these games, and it was fantastic. And then a couple years ago, they reintroduced San Andreas again, and became even more popular again, all over again. So again, San Andreas was super fun. We kind of get that first look into like Los Santos and stuff, and it was again really really good. Then you kind of get some like the Liberty City stories, and later on 2009 you get like the Chinatown Wars, Ballad of Gay Tony, etc. But 2008 GTA 4, that's the HD era of games. It starts out onto like the previous gen consoles now, so like the PlayStation 3s and the Xbox 360s. Again, fantastic game. Became one of those first like early on like YouTube games as well, of people posting content on YouTube. GTA 4 was one of those first games, and then came on like the Call of Duties and stuff like that. But GTA 4, just like funny moment type things, were one of those first YouTube type of gaming things. But again, fantastic, very likable character, good story, and something that a lot of people are kind of wanting to go back to, and kind of go check back out Liberty City again. So jumping into 2013, now we have GTA 5, right? So the only bad thing is with GTA 5 is like you just look at the time frames, right? So GTA 4 was 2008, and then jump ahead 5 years is GTA 5. So that's a long time span in between like full all out games. So now we're in 2021, and we're pushing, we're at 8 years, it's going to be 10 years before we probably see anything. So I would imagine 10 years before GTA 6 or GTA whatever comes out, right? So that's a big time frame. And on the plus, like Rockstar does things right. I think a lot of the times. We'll kind of get a little bit more into that a little bit later on. So why I got it. So I bought it. So what? Yeah, it came out in September. The online came out in October, and like probably around like November-ish. Like I really wanted to get it, so I ended up buying it around like a Black Friday type of time frame in November. And I didn't play it like right off of the bat. It was probably a week or two later, finally in like December and stuff, I finally started playing it. And oh my god, it was so freaking funny. And I probably really purchased it that early. I probably would have waited a little bit longer if not for YouTube and people posting like funny moment type stuff. Like I'm so grateful for the people that were doing that stuff back then. Just kind of creating content and doing that stuff back in 2010, 12, 14, 15, the early on stuff. Like it really, you know, uh, almost made sales for games. But for me, I bought GTA probably a couple months earlier than what I would have normally done. And it's just so good. The story mode, and that's where like Rockstar, I think, like really excels, is their stories and their voice acting. They're so good. Not even talking about like Red Dead, right? Like Red Dead, the story mode for Red Dead is probably the best story mode of all time, in my opinion. It's so freaking good. It's one of those things that you could play over and over and over again. It's just that epic. But GTA is one of those. Like I beat the original, or I beat GTA on the Xbox 360 probably twice. I don't think I ever finished it on current gen now on like the Xbox One. I don't think I ever finished it on that. But I guess I just one of those things you just don't have time, or like I know what happens. But again, it's just such a good story. It takes you everywhere. There's so many side missions and things like that. It's not something that you can sit down and just beat the game in like 3 or 4 hours. It's I need like a month to do this type of thing because of all the side quests. It's really exciting if you've never played it. So let's talk about the positives, right? There's just so many different ways to play GTA, and I've already talked about the story mode, right? Like that's so extravagant with all the side missions and stuff there. But let's talk about the online. So a lot of people don't really bother with the online stuff. It's like, I don't really want to fight a whole bunch of other people or whatever, and I get that 100%. But let's talk about all the other stuff, right? So races, right? There's just so many different types of them between air races, boat racing, parachute racing, stunt races, the transform races. There's all sorts of different types of races. I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands that Rockstar put into the game, let alone the custom races that you can download. There's even more. There's hundreds of times of what Rockstar has in there. So it's a lot. All the missions and the different adversary modes, there are tons of those, and I seriously doubt I've played all of them. There are so many, and a lot of them are there's like different modes that come out with like different seasons or whatever. Like the Halloween ones are really fun and scary, especially if you're playing with a bunch of friends. They're really good and fun to play. The team deathmatch and survivals, if you like the 1v1 or 5v5 type of situations or whatever, you can do that type of stuff in Call of Duty, but there is that in GTA as well. And there's infinite amount of maps because the city is so massive. There's also survival modes with different waves of things. Those are fun, easy way to make a little bit of cash as well. Car shows types of stuff. I mean, there's thousands of different vehicles, right? There was like the lowriders update. There's a new DLC that just came out maybe like 2 months ago, something like that, for like the tuners. And that's legit a car show meetup type of thing. So that's something else you could do. You could do it with all sorts of different vehicles there. Money grinding. So some people like this, some people don't. But if you don't want to purchase a shark card, basically to get yourself, in-game money, this is a way to do it. You can make it fun, but you like. I've had some like friends like come and go in GTA of like, uh, trying to explain to them like you have to spend some money to get these different businesses or whatever. And I'm going to give this advice later on. But you have to like invest money to make money, right? Like nothing is just given to you. And so you have to kind of work for that money in GTA. So you don't have to do those things. And I'm always rolling around with 30, 40, 50 million in cash. I've made almost 400 million in game just by grinding. And there's so many different ways to do it, right? But you can't have fun, especially if you're with friends. Again, it's not that bad. Because there's also 100 different ways you can grind money. Open lobby battles. There are people who kind of do this stuff. I'm not a big fan of griefers or whatever, but you can do those things. That is an option if you're a little bit more of a toxic person or you just want to cause hectic because hey, it's Grand Theft Auto. Go right ahead. That is an option for you. There is a guy, his name's Putter, Putther, I think is what it is, how it's spelled. So shout out to him. But he makes really good videos of just him having open lobby battles. But he's kind of that anti-griefer. Like he sits there and gets into lobbies and watches for griefers, and then he goes after them and picks fights with them and then just kicks the crap out of them. So it's really, it's a whole different way to play. Total character customization, hairs, hair, beards, clothes, tattoos, all sorts of different ways that you can do that. But the amount of clothes that are in game, I mean, there's so many different styles. There are people who just make outfits to almost like cosplay, right? And but that's very possible in game. In lobby VIP work, there's motorcycle clubs, missions, bunker missions, crates, the vehicle warehouses, the air cargo, which is not fun. I don't recommend. The VIP challenges. There's so many different things that you can do like in the middle of a game to also just make 20, 30,000, 100,000, whatever. So yeah, the arena wars, right? Those are a whole nother way to play the game. A lot of fun. It's in the arena right in the center of Los Santos, kind of downtown area. That's a lot of fun. I got personally burned down on a little bit because there was only like 5, 6, 7 game modes that you could do. But there are still people who I see invites anytime I play. I get invites for it. So people are still doing it. But that's fun if you've never done it. I definitely recommend it. There's also tons of vehicles that you can get in there that you can't get or just you can't purchase like outside of that. The free mode events is a whole nother thing. It's another real way to just like really quickly make money. They make you do crazy things of the longest wheelie challenge or the parachuting and opening your parachute closest to the ground, flying upside down, all sorts of things. A lot of them are really fun to do, and it's 5-10 minutes of your time to do those. The creator mode. So if you want to make cool content, the nice thing with GTA is they give you this creator mode. You can also make your own mission, or excuse me, make your own races and team death matches, things like that in the creator mode. But you can also record clips and add music and effects and all this stuff all within GTA. So getting those different perspectives and camera views while you're playing the game is so vital for anybody who wants to kind of do content creation. It's a really easy way to do it in GTA. So most people don't do that. The big time GTA creators will, but it's just a really easy way to do it. But let alone like making and doing like your own races and creating your own races, those are also a lot of fun if you've never done it. The daily objectives, most people forget about those. There's like 3 daily objectives that everybody has. It's a real quick and easy way to make, it's like 20,000 or 50,000. I forget. Most of them are super simple though. Heists. There are 3 sets of heists. Like the regular, the facility, end of the world apocalypse one, and then the casino heists. So each one has like 4 different parts to it. So if you sit down for 12 hours, you could probably get through all of those heists real quick, but I always recommend it with a few friends, 3 friends, just to get through all of those. But the heists are actually really fun. If you've never done those or never done all of them, I recommend that. So the graphics, again, really cool, simple graphics, but they're actually very good. It still looks very modern for being a game that's like 8 years old. There are tons of people that still play. I'm always in full lobbies. It's not like I jump into a lobby and there's nobody there. The lobbies are always jam-packed. There's always stuff going on. There's also new people, like I hinted at earlier. There's still every day there's new people joining. So every lobby I get into, there's still level 1s and level 2s out there. So like I said, there's tons of new stuff as well. New DLCs coming out. Like I said, there was just a new one a month or 2 ago. The tuners update. I think it was like back in August, if I remember right, maybe July, I forget. But here we are 8 years in, and GTA is still putting out, or Rockstar is still putting out free DLCs. It's not as much as what it was in the first like 5 years or so, but the last few years they're still doing several a year, 3 or 4 DLCs. They still do like Halloween events and Christmas events and Valentine's Day stuff and 4th of July stuff. So there is still like events that happen constantly, just like holiday stuff. So they put snow on the ground for New Year's and Christmas and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. I still recommend to people like playing it if you haven't. The double money and RP. Every single day there's double money or even triple money in RP on different events, races, adversary modes, things like that, missions. So if you're just looking to like make some money, always look at those double money, triple money events, and they're also always packed. A lot of people like grind the double money and RP missions because it's good money and easy money. And like I said, it's always packed. There's always tons of people doing it. So it's not like, oh, this race is triple money, but I can't find anybody. No, there's always people in it. Glitch hunting. So there are still glitches in GTA, which is great. I don't think they really bother fixing too many of them because they're not game breaking. I tell you what though, like the glitches at the beginning and the first few months of GTA when it came out, like the gate launch glitches and stuff that were found, like those were like some of like my best moments in GTA. They were so funny, but unfortunately, like it was right before like I actually started recording. Oh, it was so good. So I do wish I recorded a lot of that stuff, but sadly I did not. And then finally, like I always recommend like the iFruit app. I keep it on my phone. You don't have to have the app. I think you can just go to like their website or whatever. It's like Rockstar Games Social Club. It's like socialclub.rockstargames.com, I think is what it is. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but something like that. But you can kind of see your stats in there. You can create like custom license plates in there for anybody who doesn't know how to do that. You have to do it through the app. The custom races, though, is my favorite part of the iFruit app. Is you can download custom races to your game directly from your phone. So I always download a whole bunch of goofy or popular races, and then I make my friends play them, and we do them, and it's usually pretty comical. So, but there are, I don't even know, there are hundreds of thousands of races that you can download from this. So, and most of them, like I said, they're all custom. So they're all going to be really goofy because people don't like to do normal stuff. They like to do goofy things. So they're going to be pretty unique. So negatives, let's talk negatives. So DLC on story mode, just not a thing. The cars get in there, but they haven't like really updated it to add like new missions or things like that. Not a big deal. I mean, I think the story mode was massive enough. But that's something that everybody looks at. The griefers are definitely a problem. Tanks, suppressors, the deluxos, proximity mines, hydras, lasers, etc. There are tons of ways to grief people. I don't notice it like a ton. And typically if you like leave people alone, people are not gonna mess with you too much. I'm also like, me and my friends are also like very high levels, so we don't get messed with as much. But if you're, a level 5 going in there, odds are there's probably going to be some people coming after you. Don't fret, just jump to another lobby. Everything's fine. It's not that bad, but they are obnoxious. The last couple of years of DLCs are crazy expensive. That's probably my biggest complaint of GTA is the economy is just broken, right? The average t-shirt is probably $5,000. The average like regular car is probably 300,000 to $500,000. The average like a nice car is like 1.5 million. So that's a problem, and it's not super easy to make money. You have to kind of grind a little bit. Early on, it wasn't horrible because like you could grind some missions and have enough to buy a decent car, but there wasn't 1,000 cars out there that are $2 million. So that's the hardest thing now is anybody getting in, they see all these cars like, well, I can't buy a $2 million car because I have $500 in my GTA bank account. I can't I can't do that. So yeah, it's hard, but you have to start where everybody else did and buy the crappy cars and kind of work your way up, right? There are very easy ways, and there's too many ways to ruin it for new players. Like I said, people can just be toxic, they can grief people and just like constantly run over somebody new, and that's kind of obnoxious. And then the grinding. You do have to definitely grind if you want to get new stuff. Once you kind of like nowadays, like I don't grind a ton because I've got 30, 40 million. I think I'm at 38 million right now. I don't grind as much as I used to because there's not as many DLCs coming out, and I'm not going to blow that much money on it. So, yeah, so that's kind of the thing. Advice. So this is what I always recommend to people getting the best vehicles and kind of like must-haves in the game. Take your pick with like the guns. I didn't put this down here, but like the bullpup rifle, get like a heavy shotgun, get a sniper rifle. I recommend like the AP pistol as well for like if you're like in the car. If you're driving in a car and you need to shoot from the car, the AP pistol is really good, or the machine pistol is really good. Um, but from vehicles, the first car that I always recommend to people is get the armored Karuma. It's fast, it's strong, it's hard to get shot from. It still gets blown up from like sticky bombs and explosives and stuff like that. But it's a lot harder than the average car. And they're very easy to control as well. Some vehicle to get you from point A to point B extremely fast. So like the Deluxo or the Oppressor Mark II. The Oppressor Mark II, if you're gonna ride it, don't kill people. Like so many people just that's a griefer thing is the Oppressor. The Deluxo is a little bit slower, but it's a flying DeLorean if you're not familiar with it. The Oppressor Mark II is a flying motorcycle with rockets. Super obnoxious. It's very fast. That's why I recommend like having one of those. The Deluxo, like I said, is a little bit slower, but you can fly over everything. But it is like it's a flying DeLorean, basically, is all it is. A good supercar. There are so many good supercars out there. None of them are that bad. So yeah, I just recommend having one for like races, things like that. Get a good customized supercar. This isn't as needed in APC or an insurgent. The APC can actually go in the water as well, so that's one thing to consider. The rockets are so easy on it to shoot. So if you do get in battles with people, these are very easy things to use. The buzzard or Akula, the buzzard is definitely the easiest. The Akula can go off radar. Kind of goes into like a stealth mode. You can't shoot missiles with it, but you can easily escape with it, or surprise attack people with it. Must have businesses. So this is how I recommend people like start their grinding. Basically, is you got to save enough money up for a motorcycle club, right? It's best to have two or three, four friends that can join your motorcycle club. But start the motorcycle club. You have to buy that, and then you have to buy businesses from within it. You buy cocaine, then meth, then counterfeit, then the weed. You can buy, there's like the forgery one as well, but if you're doing it things like solo or with like one or two other friends, it's hard to sit there and maintain a ton of businesses. So start with one, get the cocaine, save enough money for that, and then upgrade them. Upgrade those, it gets more money and faster production out of those. So upgrade them as quickly as possible. So like I said, start with one, upgrade it, and then get another one, upgrade it, get another one, upgrade it. But yeah, go cocaine, meth, counterfeit weed. That's enough for, like I said, 2 or 4 people. If you love grinding, or if you're just going to do that, go ahead and get the forgery, but it's not a lot of money. And once you have at least 1 or 2 of the motorcycle clubs, consider getting the nightclub. You don't have to promote it. You don't have to even worry about that. If it's a total dead nightclub, that's perfectly fine. But there's passive money that you get from underneath. Uh, so in the basement of the nightclub is basically a whole nother set of motorcycle club businesses that do that passively. So you don't have to get product for them. They do it all themselves. And after X amount of time, you can sell what they have for 500 to $1 million, or 500,000 to $1 million. So it's really easy passive income. It's always growing and always getting you money. And then eventually you just have to sell it. They're really easy sell missions that you can possibly do even in full lobbies. I never recommend it. But yeah, really easy way to do those things. The vehicle warehouse out of the VIP office. It's also very simple, easy way to make $100,000 just constantly is getting that vehicle warehouse. So get the vehicle warehouse. You kind of grind to get cars and get cars in the vehicle warehouse. But once you do that, then they're really easy to sell, especially if you got like a quiet lobby or a small lobby. So there's only like 5-10 people in there and they're all kind of minding their own business. It's a good time to sell. If you sell with nobody in the lobby, then you're getting like basically like NPC baddies in the game that will sit there and shoot up your car while you're trying to sell it. Every damage done to the car is money off of your income. So consider doing it with just a couple people, or get like one friend if you're in like you can get like kind of almost like a private lobby. Have one friend in there who's not going to bother you, who's kind of doing their own thing, and you both like kind of sell cars at the same time. It's really easy money. And then the bunker. I do recommend the bunker. One, you can get the added guns from the bunker, different types of weapons for your guns, different types of weapons for like the APCs and things like that as well. So I do recommend the bunker as well, but you definitely need to have a few friends when you're trying to sell. It's a lot harder to sell if it's just one person or 2 people. Otherwise, you need to sell it when it's only like 50% full. If you fill up your warehouse and you get it all sold, it's $1 million. Really simple. It grows by itself. You just have to get some supplies for it. And I recommend just buying supplies. When you go to sell it, sometimes you get ways to sell that are hard with just 1 or 2 people. So having a 3rd or 4th person is always recommended. Through the VIP office, you can do the cargo as well. I don't really recommend it because you have to buy that cargo, and it's a lot of grinding to do the cargo. If you're just kind of by yourself though, it's sometimes easy to sit there and kind of grind cargo. It's like you go do a cargo mission and then you do a vehicle, like go steal a vehicle for your vehicle warehouse mission, and then cargo vehicle. And that's a great way to just grind and have those ready to sell when you are ready to sell. And then finally kind of embracing the grind, right? If you need money. So when I'm streaming GTA, I always get people coming on like, hey, can you help me get money? I need to make money. Or, oh my God, you have so much money. I only have X amount of money. So those are very common questions that I get while I'm streaming GTA, because I stream my grinding a lot of the times. So it's like I said, I don't have weeks and weeks to help somebody. Get friends that you trust, get a crew of friends, and then invest money to make money, right? This is not going to be an instant thing. You're not going to get $1 million today. You have to spend $2 million today to get 5 million tomorrow, right? So just take the time, grind for a few weeks, and that money is going to come in. So embrace the grind, right? It's a lot of work for that, but embrace it. All right, so the best times I've had. So this was just kind of a dumping thing. So the gate launches, which I mentioned earlier, were so funny. There was a couple like door launches and stuff as well, but the gate launch right outside of Eclipse Towers, I really wish I had like even like a little clip of it, but I don't think I do. But oh my god, those were so funny. My speed record, like GTA keeps your stats of like your like how fast you've gone, how many people you've killed, how many cars you've crashed, how many cops you've killed, how many whatevers, like all these random stats. There's thousands of them. And one of them is your like how fast you've driven, like your fastest speed vehicle. And I'm going to talk about mine in a second, but my speed record was set from a gate launch. It's hilarious. It's unfortunate like I don't know my legit speed. But my gate launch was from a fire truck. So my fastest fastest vehicle or fastest traveled is in a fire truck, which is hilarious. But I was basically launched from one side of the map to the next in just a split second. So my speed is crazy. Chilling with friends, just having a good time, doing anything and everything is a great way. Playing by yourself is just nowhere near as fun anyway. Play with friends, it's so much better. Making money, and just kind of goes along with also that late night grinding. But there's, you know, the late night grinding is more of like the motorcycle club businesses and stuff like that. But making money just doing like the double money stuff, like there's several of the adversary modes that are really good that I really like Deadline is one where it's like the Tron bikes. That's a really good one. Anytime that's double money or triple money, do it because it's hilarious. The stunt races, the crazy tracks, the transform races, the hot ring circuits, those are a good time as well. Especially the custom ones that you can download from the iFruit app, and missions. You know, there's tons of missions to do as well, hundreds and hundreds of those. I recommend those. I always create playlists of missions. So anytime like the contact missions are double money, I already have a playlist ready to go of the ones I know I can do by myself of like 10 really easy ones that are good money makers. I just start that playlist, bust them out in 40 minutes, and I've got a lot of money to spend, right? So current stats. So here's my current stuff. Currently level 543. I don't know if I'm going to get to 600. Overall income that I made 362 million. Kills death. So here's my top speed. Top speed 35,608,000 miles per hour. And that was in a fire truck. I literally got gate launched and I ended up on the other side of the map underwater, like at the bottom of the ocean. It's freaking hilarious. Bails from vehicle. I always like this one because like I don't know anybody. Well, one, I don't know anybody whose speed is faster than this, and two, I don't know of anybody who's got more bails from a moving vehicle than this. Time spent in GTA. So like I said, this is one of my 105 days in one game. That might be my most played game. I'm sure it probably is. I probably spent more time in this. I almost killed about 12,000 cops, and I've been in 77,000 car crashes. So pretty crazy. All right, so GTA going forward, like what are some of the things that like I want in GTA? Bigger maps, right? Like if you can get like all of them combined, right? Los Santos, Liberty City. The rumor right now is Vice City, which is what I'm kind of hearing and seeing on Reddit. Is it sounds like Vice City is going to be the thing, and that's perfectly fine. I think they're going to do more of like a Vice City reboot. And if it takes place in the 80s, that's cool too. If it's modernized and not the same story at all. If it's basically like Vice City over again, I'm not going to be very happy. I can't imagine them doing that, especially it's taking this long. But I thought it would be fantastic if they added multiple of their maps, of like the San Fierro, the Vice Cities, the Los Santos, the Liberty Cities, and you can kind of fly from point A to point B or whatever, or you can drive. So say there's this like dead space in between, right? And you can drive from those cities. I feel like that would be really easy, but you can fast travel by going to the airport or whatever, paying, $500 for a plane ticket or whatever. I feel like that would be great. Less ways to grieve. I think if it does take place in like the 80s, there's going to be less ways to grief anyway. There's not going to be flying cars, and everything's not going to have missiles with it, things like that. Like, that's my biggest problem, is like half of the vehicles right now have missiles on them. Like, it's kind of obnoxious. Same amount or more cars. Like, I love the fact that you can buy thousands and thousands of different cars and fill up all these garages. Keep it going. I love it. Less futuristic guns and cars. Everybody's got laser guns and alien technology, things like that. Everybody's got homing rockets. Less of those and less futuristic flying cars and motorcycles would be great. I do want a casino as well. The casino update that came out about a year or two ago was also very good. So I do want that as well. And just different ways to make money in that. An amazing story mode, which I seriously doubt Rockstar is going to fail at. They're always very good about the story modes. So something different, even if it's just one protagonist, I'm okay with that as well. I think they liked the idea of having 3 that you can kind of switch between in GTA 5. So if it's just 1 or 2, that's cool. I know at one point it was talked about having a female protagonist. I'm cool with that as well. It doesn't matter to me, but something different would be fantastic. And keep up the free DLC. I don't think they would ever charge, because they get so much money from their game, and their sales always kill, right? Like, they always get so many so many sales. And then they kind of expect people to buy shark cards because they want that instant gratification of just having billions of dollars in their bank account. So people will buy them regardless, because they're going to keep dropping DLCs with tons of cars and tons of cool things to buy, and people want to buy it, and a lot of people aren't willing to put in that work. So and something I didn't add in here is still ways to grind and make that money. I think they found out, like, a lot of people really like the motorcycle clubs and the vehicle warehouses and the cargo and all that stuff. So I don't think that's something they would ever get away from. It's probably those things that'll come in future DLCs when it does drop. Because right off the bat, it'll be like missions and races where you're making your money, or other little random events or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, that's it for me. I do appreciate you listening to my giant GTA 5 brain dump. I didn't get to go through all this stuff in the last one, but this is kind of the stuff that I'm looking forward to and I want. Again, I think it's going to be Vice City, GTA 5. I saw some like people making GTA 6 covers for Vice City, and like, so they always use like the Roman numerals, right? So 6 is VI. Well, the first 2 letters of Vice are VI, right? So it would be real easy logo to put GTA 6, so VI City, right? So I think that would make sense to roll that. And then with them going like Liberty City and then Los Santos, it's probably time for a Vice City. I would love the option of multiples, but we'll see. We'll see. And I don't know about what they'll do with like the GTA Online, if that's just going to be, because it's not like GTA 5 Online, it's just GTA Online. So I don't know if they're just going to keep that and expand it, or how that's going to work. I don't know. I would think it would make financial sense for them to redo it all, and create basically GTA 6 Online, which will probably come a month or 2 after the release of the game. So yeah, that is it for me. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening and hanging out with me. And so yeah, be sure to comment. Let me know what you think about GTA. I also realized, like, I have didn't mean to bump my microphone. My Apex is booming, which has been up there for a couple months. I didn't even bother changing that, which I have not. That has not been touched for any of these podcasts for quite a while as well. So I'm going to step up my podcast game as long as I do have a little bit of time for it. So again, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye.